What's going on, guys? Amazing White here, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing the guide for the Hell Red Demon that's going to be coming out soon on the global version of the game. So let's get into it. Alright, so as you guys know, with Hell Demons coming, I wanted to go over some units that are going to be super beneficial for your team. The thing is with Hell Demons is that you can only use the attribute advantage. So for Red Demon, we're gonna have to choose a bunch of blue characters. We're not gonna be able to bring Gother, and we're not gonna be able to bring any freeze units like Gustav or Merlin for the Red Demon. So we're gonna be relegated to only blue units. And so I'm gonna be going over the main contenders for not just DPS but sustainability in the fight. Alright, so just one thing to note before going into this, for the Red Demon, he's gonna be attribute strength. He's gonna be weak to human characters and strong against fairy characters. So this is really good to know, so that you want to actually focus using human characters when you're picking out your team. So for the first character we're going to be going over is going to be Brawler Bond, and Brawler Bond was actually built for the Red Demon raid. Basically how he works is he has his charge skill on his first skill, which is going to inflict 500% of attack on one enemy and inflict charge, which ignores defense, right? And then for his second skill, Toxic Bottle, he's going to inflict damage equal to 300% of attack on one enemy and decrease attack related stats by 40% for 2 turns. These two cards in combination make it so that the Red Demon's going to do barely any damage to you, and you're going to be ignoring his defense and doing a ton of damage, right? His passive is really good for the Red Demon. Also decreases all the enemies' attack related stats by 15% at the start of the next turn if the hero doesn't take damage. This is actually a gray buff, so how it works is it actually stacks with Bond's Toxic Bottles card right here, right? So for his ultimate, he's going to inflict damage equal to 720% of attack on one enemy and deplete 5 ultimate move gauge orbs. That is with the link with King, so that's pretty cool. And then it can actually scale up to 1080 with the King link, so that's pretty nice. Overall, Brawler Bond's going to be your main blue DPS, I'd say, just because his kit is based on the Red Demon, right? He's meant to defeat the Red Demon, right? There is another character that you can use that would be not as good as Bond, but he'd be a decent contender for that, and that character is going to be Hunter Slater. So the thing is with Slater actually falls off on Hell Red Demon because of his DPS. It isn't very good on his level 1 cards, right? We're not going to be having Gother and Hell Red Demon, right? So we're not going to be able to rank up and get the level 3 Sever or the level 3 Saw Blade card, right? So that's the only issue with Slater, is his damage is overall pretty weak. So there isn't really much we can do with him. I do recommend using Slater if you don't have any of the other characters I list here, but he is probably your last resort option for DPS for the fight. As you guys know, he has a Sever card that inflicts 400% of attack on one enemy and severs ×2 crit chance. For his second skill, he's going to remove stances on one enemy and inflict damage equal to 360% of attack, then disable stance skills for 2 turns. So this is going to be very effective on the Red Demon, so he doesn't actually get his stances up. And then for his ultimate, he's going to inflict damage equal to 630% of attack on one enemy and infects for 2 turns. They can scale to 945% of attack with the Simon link, right? So for his passive, he increases crit chance by 300% of the value when the hero uses a skill on the enemy when he has an empty ultimate move gauge. So this actually works a lot better in the extreme or the hard of Red Demon, right, where you have Gother and you can rank up and basically clear every turn 1 turn, right? That's what Slater's job is in the extreme version. But when we're doing Hell, we don't have the luxury of using Gother, so Hunter Slater is going to be a little bit less viable in the fight, right? So the next character we're going to go over is actually going to be SR Aaron. So SR Aaron, he came out as a free-to-play unit for the Attack on Titan event, right? And I think a lot of people gotten him, right? He is going to be a free 6 out of 6. I know a lot of people didn't get him, but for the people that did get him, he's going to be a really good contender for the fight. So what he can do is he can cancel stances on one enemy and inflict damage equal to 500% of attack on his first skill, which is really good, right? Canceling stances on the Red Demon actually uses a ton of stances, so having this is going to make it so you do increase damage, right? His second skill is going to increase basic stats by 50% for 3 turns and gains evasion for 1 turn. So this is the same skill as Red Derriere, and as you guys know, Red Derriere is very busted because of the skill. So on his level 2, he can actually gain the evasion, and he also gains the evasion on level 3. So if you get a level 2 buff card with Aaron, you're going to be not taking damage on that turn against the Red Demon. Very useful. For his ultimate, he's going to inflict shatter damage equal to 630% of attack on one enemy, and it can scale to 945% of attack at 6 out of 6. So if you did get this guy 6 out of 6, then you should have the 945% of attack. He also increases the hero's damage dealt against an enemy of an unknown race. So this is not going to apply against the red demon because he is a demon, but everything else in his kit does apply, and SR Aaron is going to be a top contender for DPS in the fight. His ultimate is a nuke ultimate. It's going to do a ton of damage. His buff card is going to make it so he can evade on turns and get buffs for his basic stats, and his first skill is going to cancel the stances on the red demon. The next character I would recommend you guys use is going to be Blue Lizhawk, and the reason for using Blue Lizhawk is because she actually has this second skill right here where she applies the solidify on all the allies and removes the debuffs from all the allies and actually doubles your solidify effect, right? Super useful because the red demon actually ignites your entire team. So if you can get off this solidify for your entire team, it's going to make it so you're going to be more resistance. It's going to increase your resistance for your team, and it's going to make it so you're going to proc Bond's passive a ton more, right, if you're not taking damage. Lizhawk also combines that solidify effect with her amplify skill on her first card, which increases the damage dealt by 30% per buff on self. So, and it can scale up to 450% of attack on one enemy, which is really good. Another thing to note is that Blue Lizhawk actually has a charge ultimate, which does 800% of attack on one enemy at 1 out of 6, which is a really high damage multiplier for a charge skill, and so it is very effective against the red demon, as the red demon is weak to charge based attacks, right? That is why I do recommend you using Blue Lizhawk. Another thing to note is it increases all allies HP by 12% per debuff on the hero. So if Blue Lizhawk has a ton of debuffs like the ignites from the red demon and you don't have a solidify to cleanse it, you actually get the increased HP for the rest of your allies, which is really good. The final unit we're going to be going over is going to be the Nunchuck Bon. So if any of you actually picked up the Nunchuck Bon from the his banner, right? I know a lot of people skipped his banner, but if you do have the luxury of having Nunchuck Bon, he is a decent character for red demon. I don't think he is as good as the Brawler Bond, but the Nunchuck Bon still has a place in the meta for red demon, right? So for his first skill, he's going to cancel stances on one enemy and inflict damage equal to 500% of attack. So same skill as Aaron. So it's going to be really effective against the red demon. For his second skill, he's going to inflict damage equal to 300% of attack on one enemy and decrease defense related stats by 40% for 2 turns. So this is actually not the same card as Brawler Bomb, but it does the defense related stats instead of the attack related stats. So pretty cool. The only issue with Nunchuck Bon is his ultimate is very weak even with a link. So inflicts damage equal to 400% of attack on one enemy and extorts 50% of attack and defense for 2 turns. This can be useful as the red demon is able to be debuffed, but the only issue with this ultimate is that it does a really low multiplier and it can only scale up to 600% at 6 out of 6, and I know a lot of people don't have a 6 out of 6 Nunchuck Bon, right? Another thing to note is that he increases the defense by 50% of all the enemy's defense. So depending on how strong the red demon defense is, you're actually going to increase that by 50% for your defense, which actually makes Brawler Bond really good for tanking in the fight. That's going to be it for the red demon characters I recommend. If we're talking about sub-slot units, you can use Marmus for HP if you really need. You can also use Blue Jericho for that extra attack related stats buff. That's just one thing to note. Another thing to note is that I didn't go over any JP exclusive characters at the moment, right? So I could have went over Goddess Liz, I could have went over Jenna. There are a lot of characters on the JP version of the game that are viable for red demon, but because they're not on the global version of the game, I decided not to go over them. Alright, so that's going to be it for the video, and I will be getting out the Grey Demon and the Crimson Demon guide for these Hell Demons soon. So hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.